people in the place to be, and coughing Dan. How you doing, Dan?
I'm coughing.
Welcome to the Political Deep Dive. I'm Dave Valente. Joining us, as you heard, Dan Fishman. How you doing, Dan the man?
Ladies, jelly beans, I am ready to talk it up tonight.
Right.
I'm going to start with the 11th commandment: do not fold, spindle, or mutilate.
There you go. Is that on the tablet that fell from Mel Brooks' hands?
Yeah.
Yes. I have these 15 commandments, 10 commandments.
10! One of the better scenes in movie history.
Right. Unfortunately, there's so much wisdom lost on that, too. Like the 11th commandment would have solved the Middle East problem.
Yeah, probably.
12th commandment says VI instead of Emacs. Stuff like that.
There you go. All right. And joining us from Colorado.
Mile High AJ.
That's right.
Oh, hi, everybody.
Settled,
I still sound like I'm in Tennessee.
Yeah, getting settled in the Mile High City, and
yes,
all the good things that go along with that. How are you enjoying Colorado so far?
I am fucking loving it. I have not seen anyone pulled over. I haven't seen anyone pulled over at all, but I also haven't seen anyone pulled over and it be like 3 or 4 cops pulling them over. That's not something I realized I was seeing on a regular basis because I haven't seen it at all here. And it's freaking me out. Everybody's really nice. There's really not like angry traffic even. It's kind of like they planned it for the people that live here. There's a population that's actually here. There's public transportation, which is great. I'm going to be figuring that out this week. We'll see what happens.
There you go.
I'm loving it, honestly. Like my neighbors are cool, surrounded by dog people. So Louis is super popular. I met so many of my neighbors just because of Louis. Like awesome. He gets down, he wags his entire ass, and they're like, "Oh, what a cute dog!" They're petting the dog, and then we introduce each other, and ta-da! I've made a friend.
That is awesome.
Dog
that is awesome. Way to go, Louis. I've got a new computer this week, so I mean, like,
what you got?
A new rig, man.
Laptop, desktop,
desktop.
And so this is your first broadcast on it.
This is the first broadcast on it. So
it's interesting. Well, I can tell you the camera, at least for me, AJ, his camera looks blurry to me. What do you think?
Oh no,
just a little.
Yeah.
Now that you've said it, great.
Oh, well.
I just got way up on that.
Just think that you've been drinking if you're watching me right now.
Well, maybe that's the problem. Craig, I'm not high yet. I took my edibles about 15 minutes ago, and I only took 5 milligrams, so I'm not going to get high.
Yeah, I can't do it during the show. The first episode of the Political Deep Dive, which you can't find. I got incredibly shit-faced. And
really?
Yeah. Ooh. So that is in the forever archive. I can't. There's no good that can come from me being high or drunk or whatever on the show. Yeah. So I'll stay sober. I'll be the designated driver for everybody.
Yes.
There you go.
The people in Colorado are very, very chill. I don't want to assume anything, but everybody is. It's just a vibe here. It's just we're all just like living our lives. It's not a big deal at all.
That is nice. John Morrissey asked, betting on the Panthers. Where are you placing your bets? I'm not very good at betting, so I don't do it. But it's hard to bet against the Oilers.
They're on fire right now.
Yeah, the Stanley Cup Finals going to Game 7 tomorrow night. Final game of the hockey season. Draft is on Friday night, so not much of an off season really between the end of the season and the start of the silly season for the hockey. It's hockey.
Yeah. I mean, the interesting thing about
but you said Oilers, right?
Yeah.
Yep, Edmonton Oilers.
Okay. But there were Oilers that were football, and that they moved to Tennessee, and now they're the Titans.
The Houston Oilers moved to Nashville and became the Tennessee Titans.
So they moved to
everybody just
into Nashville.
Use all the same names?
Yes. As a matter of fact, one of the great sports trivia questions is in the 4 leagues, NHL, Major League Baseball, NFL, and NBA, there are 7 teams that have the same last name. It's actually, I think, 6 now because there's no more Houston Oilers, but Oilers was one of them. And we'll let the audience guess the rest of them throughout the show.
I can think of one right now, but that's Dan. Your
Well,
microphone is
going.
Oh, no good.
yeah. There you
Okay. Well,
But-
you can say yours, Dave.
go. The Rangers,
Yes.
Right,
Baseball and-
Rangers is a great one.
baseball and hockey. Yeah. So it's hard to bet against, and
Sean's got 2 of them.
before John's Cardinals before before Hawk took over the internet.
Nice.
There was Oilers Girl, and there's a video floating around of Oilers Girl out there that she is the inspiration behind the comeback, I think.
I mean, first of all, I do want to say she knew what she was doing. That was not an impromptu flash, because
Well, she said she was really, really drunk.
yeah, of course you would, but she was. I mean, that is, for want of a better word, that is a professional body. You don't get a body like that without, tons of time in the gym, all that
Sure.
stuff. And
But nowadays, I mean,
it's like saying Kim Kardashian accidentally released her sex tape,
yeah. Well,
right? So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's still very risky to do it in a public setting like that. Versus,
Yeah,
I mean, because she could have gotten arrested. Like if a parent
it was
came in
Canada.
and said, "Well, no, I mean, still, parent comes in and says my kid saw that," she could have gotten in some serious trouble for that. So
I don't think
mean-
she could have gotten in trouble. Maybe the network could have had a little trouble. Although, did the network actually catch it in time?
no. It was a cell phone video that.
Okay, so then I don't
But
see how.
if somebody in the crowd, like if a parent brought their kid to the Western Conference Finals and saw her flashing, she could have gotten in trouble.
They let people run onto the court and stab Steffi Graf, and they don't go to jail. So,
Well, that's Germany. So, I mean,
right.
I mean, we're, Canada's not quite as puritanical as we are, but still, they're also much more.
Are we just talking
cognizant.
about tits?
Yeah, it was just, but
Okay.
like a dude can get some serious charges just for peeing in public. So, I mean, there are chances that she could have gotten in some serious trouble by doing it. I do think that there was alcohol involved.
Yeah.
She had a very nice body, but
that's the thing, right? That's the thing that makes me most about it. And so of course, what is she doing now for a career? She was hired by Playboy.
Oh yeah, she was hired. I mean, she's going to take
Playboy
advantage
is still
of
a thing.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Right. She's a greeter at the Playboy in Holiday Inn. No, I'm just kidding. But
No, I heard that she did.
I was
a
mortified.
thing for Playboy, but she's going to take advantage of her 15
Playboy
minutes
still
of fame,
exists,
especially
right?
after some of the backlash she received.
yeah, no, I don't have any problem. I mean, even if you look at the blurred one, I mean,
The great ones.
it's you can look it up. That is it's not an accident.
Oh.
Are you looking at it, AJ?
No, I'm looking at Playboy because it's just tits.
Oh.
I was just curious if Playboy was still a thing. I'm looking
Yeah.
that up. Sorry.
Yeah,
There you
there's
go. All right.
sort of a thing, but not really. But
No,
they had so
print,
much money.
print.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they had to go online just like all the other
Right.
magazines, really.
Right.
So-
She got a photo shoot out of it, and honestly, she looks much worse in the photo shoot than she did in the game.
Yeah,
I mean, that may be just sort of my thing.
I thought so as well.
Yeah. No. I agree. I mean,
No, if you'll
Hey.
send me the link, I'll watch whatever.
all right. I'll send you. I'll put the link in the chat here.
Yeah, women can go topless in a few areas, but again, I know there are places that are very, very strict when it comes, especially in the United States, when it comes to public nudity, especially around children, things like that. Then they'll file charges, and have to report as sex offenders for the rest of their lives. So I mean, there's there's some screwed up stuff that goes along with that. That she did take a very good chance in her life.
Gonna be honest. Back in the day,
Yeah.
we would
All
be
right.
leaving Starwood Amphitheater in Nashville, and the easiest way that I found to get anyone to let me out so that I could leave the parking lot was to flash them. I would flash them and they would let me go and ta-da, no harm because it was just tits. Like, I don't understand how this
I,
gets so
Right.
I don't
crazy.
either.
I
Yeah,
do.
I agree with sex,
Chuck.
registered sex offenders. If they actually do cause physical harm to somebody, if they do something without consent, yes, throw the book at them, do all the enhanced stuff. That's fine.
Absolutely.
Somebody
I,
flashing their tits, I
I like.
I don't care.
I like what um, George Carlin said about it. He's like, the 7 words you can't say on television,
Yeah.
radio and television, and one of them is tits. He's like, tits. I mean, come on, why can't you say tits? I mean, it sounds like a snack. I mean, I know for some people
Yeah,
it is,
it
but I mean,
is.
seriously, potato tits. Wouldn't
Well,
you eat those? Tater tits.
I mean, they're okay with showing boobs when it comes to C-SPAN. So I mean,
Yeah.
why not? All right, so we are going to do an
Maine
Our World
in Maine.
segment since the free for all week. I promised this back a few weeks ago, before all the craziness of the conventions and stuff. So we're going to talk about the most serene republic of San Marino. I think that's a tourist name for it. The official name is Repubblica di San Marino. So let's check that out.
Just quickly to say, San Marino, not Dan Marino.
Not Dan Marino. That's why my name is The Lace is Red.
Right.
It was originally founded in 301. It takes its name after Marinus, the stone builder who built a chapel and things up in
Place is a
San
dump.
Marino. What's that?
I said the place is a dump. Look at it.
So what you're looking at is Mount Titano. Basically, it's land around this mountain that just pops up out of central Italy. It's about an hour from the coast on the Adriatic. You'll see here in a moment that you can actually see the Adriatic from the top of Mount Titano. The city is the city of San Marino, which is the capital. There's not really much room for anything else in San Marino. So you can see the Adriatic there. Is on top of the mountain, and it's a beautiful little country. I definitely would love to go see San Marino. So the way the government's set up is that they have 2 regions that they take turns for a semester, and it's so 6 months. The region is elected, and no real executive power. They're elected by the Grand and General Council of San Marino, which is the parliament there, and they there we go. They serve for a term of a full year, but they only are kind of the head regent for 6 months during that year-long process. The Grand and General Council is elected to 5-year terms. Multi-party democracy, although there's 2 major factions within it. And but yeah, again, founded in 301, world's oldest constitutional republic and one of 3 nations that are complete enclaves within another nation, and 2 of them are in Italy. We've already done one, which was the Vatican City. The other, San Marino, is the other one in Italy. And can you guess the 3rd one? I didn't hear you, Dan.
Are you on mute?
It is.
It's not in Europe.
It's not Liechtenstein.
It's not in Europe.
Oh, then I don't know.
It is Lesotho in southern Africa. It's completely surrounded by South Africa. It is in.
Dennis has a question.
I would
It's
say
northern part of Italy, but more in the kind of the leg of the boot. Not quite in the mountain, the Alps area of Italy.
right. And San Marino, should be pointed out, has actually won medals at the Olympics, which for such a
Okay.
tiny country is an amazing thing.
But it's never won a international soccer game.
It's never won an international soccer game. It's
Um,
although they should probably play Lesotho.
yeah,
They should have a tournament
they
with the
have,
3 enclosed enclaves because they would kick the papal cities' asses.
oh, I'm sure. But they do have a lesser World Cup from time to time. It's kind of a fluke thing they do.
Right.
The microstates do get together. I don't know that San Marino's ever participated in it.
Well, what's interesting about it is, what is the population of San Marino?
35,000.
Yeah. So
Oh
Very
my.
small.
very, very small.
Third smallest country in Europe, behind Vatican and Monaco.
I
Right.
mean, super pretty. That's probably why, right?
It's interesting. I wonder if there's a a crime novel set with Escape to San Marino as as one of the premises. You could go there and, oh, you can't search me. I have a San Marino diplomatic pass and blah 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 blah.
They have actually really kind of more tried to integrate themselves in Europe. They're not a EU member, but they're in the middle of negotiating articles of association with the EU. I think they do use the euro there because before
Right.
that they used the Italian lira, which was pretty much worthless anyway. So goals per square mile. The nickname for the San Marinese national team is San Marino nil. So they don't score a whole lot.
So you can become a citizenship by investing money in the state of San Marino.
How much does it say?
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, there are a few countries in Europe that you can if you want to. I
Yeah.
know Malta is one of the bigger ones that.
Sealand is like that too.
Yeah, Sealand is, but you can't live on Sealand.
Right, exactly.
And I'd rather live in Malta. I think it's better weather in Malta if I'm going to invest in a country.
It doesn't say here. Let me find it somewhere else. It doesn't say in Wikipedia, but citizenship by investment. It's funny because a lot of people right now are trying to get other passports.
Yeah, the world's crazy, but I don't even know that I would trust. I don't know. I would trust going to Europe at this point.
Well, actually, what's interesting about that is that actually ties us into SCOTUS, because SCOTUS just had a ruling on the draft, right? And the ruling on it was crazy, right? Because not only did they reaffirm the draft, oh no, it was it wasn't SCOTUS, it was Congress,
Senate.
right?
Senate, yeah.
Senate voted to reaffirm the draft. All but friggin' 10 Republicans voted for it. I mean, it's all but 2. I think all but Thomas Massey and somebody else.
No, it would have been
crazy.
It would have been Paul probably.
Paul.
It was the Senate, so Massey's a rep.
Okay, maybe that's what it is. Rand Paul. And
probably
somebody else.
Paul. If I'm guessing, it's Paul and Mike Lee probably.
Yeah, let me find the. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, let's see. That's weird because it's HR 870. So no, passed 217 to 199 in the House. And so what's crazy about it is that in it says that any male in the United States between ages of 18 and 26, whether citizen or not, It says, first of all, every male citizen and every other male person residing in the United States between ages of 18 and 26 shall be automatically registered for
Whoa.
selective service, which is crazy, right? Can you imagine
What?
how are they going to take uh, college kids, right? You're studying in the United States and you could be drafted into the army. That's some crazy shit.
This is
Yeah,
insane.
that is
Yeah.
crazy.
And
Um,
I wonder if it's meant to cut down on foreign students getting educated in the United States, if that's the actual point of it.
no,
Is
it's
it,
probably to get after the dreamers. I'm sure it's to get after dreamers and kids that were born here or were born abroad and brought here. Um,
yeah, well, I mean, that's interesting. I guess you could be right. I didn't even think about that part of it. But I mean, the dreamers are all signing up for service anyway, right? There's a path to immigration through that. So,
yeah.
I,
Janice, the agricultural output of San Marino is wheat, grapes, corn, olives, cattle, pigs, horses, beef, and cheese.
hmm,
Wow.
Cheese.
that's a lot for such a small country.
I miss cheese.
Cheese is awesome. Are you not eating cheese anymore?
No, I do
No.
not eat cheese. It does not agree with my stomach.
Yeah,
How about
don't
goat?
eat vegan cheese. That shit's nasty. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
vegan cheese is
That's a
Vegan
war
cheese,
crime.
not, yes.
yeah. But
I'd
so
rather do without.
goat cheese also off the list.
I haven't tried yet, but because I live somewhere with like,
Yeah, you live.
options, I'm going to be trying soon.
Yeah, I was going to say
I,
you live now in the hippiest of hippiest places.
I'm
Yeah.
so loving it.
Yeah. Well, it gets really crazy. You get up into the mountains. My sister is actually up at a conference in Aspen right now, and
Really.
she's like, "It's insane here." She's like, it's so pretentious that nobody knows they're being pretentious at all. That's how ridiculous it is.
But yeah, to close the circle on San Marino, it's a beautiful little country, and it's got such an interesting history. There's a within one of their, I think within their Parliament building, they've actually got a bust of Abraham Lincoln. During the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln had written a letter to the captain's regents for San Marino and said that their long history as a constitutional republic served as an inspiration for the United States. So in response, they put a bust of Lincoln up in their Parliament building. So really cool. Very much focused on freedom and liberty, although the government does kind of tend to be a little more on the socialist side. There is lots of, yeah, they're very proud of their freedom and liberty from the Italian country, although they are, being an enclave state, they are relatively dependent on the Italians.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at a San Marino real estate site, and as you would expect, it is expensive,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's not terrible.
Oh my God. So you guys need, if you're on TikTok, there's a guy who does real estate between buying Canadian real estate and castles in Europe. And he focuses on these little dumpy houses in Toronto and Vancouver and what you could buy the equivalent of in Europe.
Yeah.
And the just a tore down, complete rebuilt need, mold, all the crap that the if you buy a house, the things that you don't want in Toronto going for well over millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Go to Europe and you can buy an actual castle in Slovenia or the Czech Republic and
Even in France,
save money. Yeah, even France. Yeah.
they one of the guys that I follow on a few people I follow on YouTube have bought, dilapidated chateaus,
Mhm.
really nice ones, and refurnished them. Now, I mean, you have to be, it's a labor of love, and you got to put the money in to refurbish it. But they're buying these things for like $200,000. And then,
Yeah.
they're probably putting $1 million into it to refurbish it, to fix it up and stuff like that. But it's a friggin' French castle in France. After that's done, you probably make it all back with an Airbnb.
Unless the war comes.
Yeah. It is, I would say, if you're interested in looking at that, there's a lot of good YouTube videos restoring chateau in Europe. And
but some of these places that he shows in his videos, these are like fully refurbished castles in these countries that you just walk in and you're a lord, of some sort.
The really interesting thing about those is that now, with reusable power, small wind, solar, stuff like that, it becomes a very different opportunity to power those places. And with like I said, the modern improvements in electricity in both LED lighting and heat pumps, it's a really fascinating idea. But castle is fundamentally uncomfortable. Unless you're going to really go all out, carpet the floors. So I went to school in England. The building that the school itself was built in 1531. And so it was all stone. I tell you what, if you walk around on stone all day, man, your feet get sore after a while. You want to wear nice shoes and stuff like that.
Sure.
So carpeting is what you want in the bedrooms and stuff like that.
Well, it's got to be cold as shit too. And like the winter,
cold. I mean,
oh my God.
Yeah, we had to wear the little fingerless gloves in the classrooms to be able to write because it was so cold in the winter.
Wow.
Yeah, so that for sure. Castles are. Well, if I can see if anybody can know which movie I'm quoting, castles don't have phones, asshole. Somebody will get it. Somebody in the audience will know it. Because I'm not actually quoting the movie. I'm not actually quoting the movie. I'm quoting the response that you say during the movie.
Oh.
What movie has a lot of responses?
Rocky Horror Picture.
Rocky Horror, exactly.
There we go.
So there's a part where Brad says,
"That's right.
I'll just go back and see if there's a phone in that castle." Everybody says, "Castles don't have phones, asshole."
That's right. All right.
All right.
So this week we've got coming up.
Allegedly.
I don't even know if I really want to watch this, but it's a shit show and it's a train wreck, so I'll probably watch it. But the first presidential debate, which is the earliest we've ever had presidential debate by like 3 months.
Right.
Generally, they are September and October. And I don't mind them having a debate this early in the season because, first off, both of these guys are past their prime. Let's just be honest. They are, as much as people make fun of Joe Biden for being an old decrepit dude, which he is, Donald Trump is just mentally off roads whenever he goes out and gives a speech. So it'll be interesting to see the dynamic between them two.
I think that there is a very real chance that Biden will lose everything in the debate. He has had moments of clear mental fog in public.
Oh yeah, but I mean, watch the boat battery speech by Donald Trump, and you don't think that he's not having a moment?
I don't think it will matter.
No, it doesn't matter to his.
It's
but
so good for him.
We are seeing. It's not a huge lead, and again, national polls are. You got to take them with a grain of salt. But you're seeing Biden take a little bit of a lead in this race. State by state polls are still much more important to really get the flavor of the race. But I think what we've seen over the last month is that people are starting to, and it's not the Trumps and the Biden supporters, it's the people in the middle that are just like, I hate both of these fucking assholes. Who am I going to vote for? And they're starting to break a little bit towards Joe Biden.
Right. Well, what's interesting is 538 has Biden at 41, Trump at 40.6, Kennedy at 9.6.
And Kennedy's numbers have been dropping as well, which is normal for a third party candidate because people tend to
Right.
move towards the two main party candidates as we get closer to the election.
Exactly.
But the problem, the interesting thing that I heard this week is that the debate, CNN offered the choice based off a coin flip. Biden camp won the coin flip. They got to choose
That was
how
rigged.
the stage was set up, or who would go first or last. So they chose that the stage would have podiums there, which I think it's because they want to have him have something that he can hold on to, and because it's a 90-minute debate.
Yeah.
So he's got to be
I would
standing
want a
there
podium for
Well,
90 minutes. That's a long
well,
time.
Also, remember the way that Trump in that sort of free for all with Hillary Clinton sort of walked around and loomed
Yeah.
over her and shit like that. I
Mhm.
want him to
But-
stay in one space.
Yeah, so the Trump campaign chose to go last in the closing arguments. So, interesting choice to choose a podium.
Yeah.
So, watch us debate at the sports bar this weekend.
So,
yeah, on Thursday. Yeah, that'll
Dave,
be-
I heard that the Political Deep Dive was going to put out a drinking bingo for the.
I'm not trying to
debate.
kill my viewers, man.
Well, I think we could put some rare things on there. I mean, you only have to put what is it, 5 by 5 minus 1, so 24 things that would go on our presidential
Ooh.
debate bingo.
Mm.
Huge,
bingo or
right?
drinking?
You got to put huge on there under
Huge.
Trump. Biden.
Listen, Jack.
Well, I would say Biden mentioning law school. That's a classic. What else?
Ooh, felony could be a freebie.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, if you
exactly.
say felony,
And that's gonna come up.
Yep. Yep. Crooked
let's
New
see, what
York
else?
juries.
Biden crime
Oh.
family.
Yep.
Um,
I think we're gonna put this
lawfare. Lawfare is another term that will come up.
Okay.
Oh God, yeah. There's lots of stuff. I mean, but the danger is that you're going to find something that is going to kill everyone that's watching this.
Well, so
And
guys,
wanna
if
do
you
that.
can think of something, people in the audience, if you can think of something that should go on our presidential debate
Yes.
bingo, please put it in the comments.
Yeah, put it in the
And,
comments.
Dave will
Yes.
make that sheet.
We'll
right
make
up
it
so I
happen.
can print it out.
I'm still sad
Freedom.
that they've never taken my suggestions about debates that they should be wearing shock collars, and if they try and go over time that they get the amps start going up, and how bad do you want to speak
Right.
beyond your allotted time. But they did solve it for a little bit in that the mics are mutable now. So once the time is up, they mute the mic, which I think actually helps Donald Trump in that 2020, his debate performance against Joe Biden, where he just tried to talk over him the entire time, really backfired against him. And I think it turned off the independents. And there's been talk that he's going to rein himself in for this one, although I'll believe that when I see it.
I mean, it's an interesting idea that if they did it completely impartially and the clock was running when you get to zero, but one of the problems is going to be when the audience cheers, does that count against your rebuttal time and everything? And who gets rebuttals and shit like that? It's complicated.
Sure.
Who are the hosts?
It's CNN,
Yeah.
Jake Tapper, and Dana Bash, I believe, are the moderators.
And so Tapper's interesting because he came from Fox and went to CNN.
Yeah.
So they consider him a traitor.
no audience.
Oh, there's no audience.
There's no audience.
Interesting.
That is.
I like that.
Right. There will be, right. I'm sure there'll be, family and staff, but they ought to be able to shut up.
The other idea that I have with debates,
I mean-
I've always wanted this to happen, is before the debate, you're given a pro wrestling character that you have to speak in the language of, and the moderator is in the mode of Mean Gene Okerlund, and it's wrestling interview style.
Right.
So that would be the other way to do debates.
Who would you
Mine.
choose if you got to choose which wrestler to be?
I
Goldberg.
think it would be Randy Savage. Maybe
gotta-
Ric
Dude,
Flair.
that was mine.
I could do Ric Flair as well. I could probably do Hulk Hogan as well. So put in the chat which wrestler you would debate as well.
I can do this.
Yeah.
See, that's my impression.
I mean,
Just does himself.
What are you gonna do, brother, with a 24-inch pythons wrap around you?
That's true. That's true.
Yep.
I don't know. You remember Nickelodeon back in the day where they had like the slime?
Yes.
I think that should be part of the debate.
Oh yeah, you can't do that on
Like,
television.
every time you lie, you get
Well,
slimed.
what's interesting is
I
that
think that'd be amazing.
we have that connection with Somebody Explains Everything on Nickelodeon.
Clarissa.
Clarissa, right?
Clarissa explains it all.
Melissa Joan Hart,
Yes.
remember, was a big supporter of the Johnson Weld campaign, and
Probably do
back
the
we were going to do. We had this just to talk about failed ideas again. We had this idea that she and Bill were going to get together, and it's going to be Melissa Explains It All, and she was going to shoot some questions, and then they didn't even have to be together at the same time. Say, Governor, can you explain to me how you and Gary Johnson could win the election because of the 12th Amendment? And then Bill, sort of lays out the whole thing about it, stuff like that. And a whole series of questions that she would ask. We set it up. We wanted to shoot it. Shot down by Utah. They didn't want to do it because they didn't want it. I can't explain it. I really can't explain it.
Are you talking about the Utah?
The Utah people who are running the Gary Johnson campaign.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I understand that now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
so
No, you're back.
who do you think has the most? Who do you think has the most to lose?
Sliming. I'm telling you.
From
Trump has the most to lose. Well, it's tough. I mean, like I said, Biden could really shit the bed, and that wouldn't shock me. On the other hand, if he did, maybe that's when that gives him the excuse to say at the convention, we are, trading, putting Joe Biden out and putting in Taylor Swift. Or who was it? Some big
She's
celebrity.
not old enough.
Some big celebrity just endorsed. She's 34, right? She'll be 35 by January, maybe. I don't know.
It amazes me how much you know about Taylor Swift, dude. Like, this is 3 weeks in a row that I've been like, damn. You're like Taylor Swift, like, knowledge.
He's a Swiftie. He's a Swiftie.
He really is.
I am. I can only sing like 3 songs, but I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan. I'm not a huge Taylor Swift music fan, but I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan. You know what? Melinda French Gates just endorsed Joe Biden. They should put her in to run for president. That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, she actually, Taylor Swift will be 35 years old on December 13th.
Very proud of myself for knowing useless information.
By
inauguration.
Election date or by inauguration?
By inauguration.
Wow. That would be interesting.
Yeah, so I
think
even
stalking Taylor Swift.
Not on anyone's.
I am not. However, I did. Well, you saw she mentioned me in her TikTok from London. The thing with Melinda French Gates, though, is that it balances out Kennedy's running mate, right, in terms of money, and she did. She can go to the thing. We talk about the fact often that, oh, dude, I have something else I want to talk about. So,
squirrel.
It's that 5 milligrams, just it right there.
Well, it is. So, the last episode of Joe Rogan, and I know a lot of people. Joe Rogan's controversial. If you listen to the Joe Rogan podcasts that aren't political, you're just going to love them. And so this last one was with the people who are the founders of the enhanced games. So the enhanced games are like the Olympics, but there's no doping testing. You show up, whatever state you want, and you will be allowed to compete. and they give
Saturday
away
Night Live
cash.
did a skit on this back in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, so now they're giving away
Dark of the
cash
games.
prizes for breaking records. So if you set the world record in the 100-meter dash, you get $1 million. Same thing. There's that swimming, boxing, and there's 2 other events: track and field, and something else. And so, but then they started to getting into talking about where we are and how much human lifespan has really been hurt by this emphasis against doping. And Eli,
That's awesome.
that would be very funny. Or have a drink every time you do complete 5 laps.
Yeah, just
Shot,
partying
shot,
it up in the
shot, shot,
car.
shot.
But so there's so much athlete enhancement medicine that actually would be amazing for people in their 60s and 70s. And one of the guys who's one of the founders of the Enhanced Games is 63-year-old man, and he said, before I got into it, I wanted to see what it really was. I wasn't going to do it, and so I started going to a doctor and said, give me the best supplements, hormones, steroids, everything that I can have that you would give me to compete. He's like, and it's amazing. I wake up and I feel like I did when I was in my 20s. I have no aches and pains. I'm a guy who goes to the gym every day, and what you
But he's
find when
got
you're
balls
older,
the size of BBs.
yeah, but who cares in your 60s? But here's the thing: is that he said, I'm a guy who goes to the gym every day, and what professional athletes will tell you is that they can still perform at a high level, but they can't recover the way that they used to. And so, like, they couldn't go to the gym and have a hard workout and then go to the gym the next day and have another hard workout once they're in their 30s. But when they're souped up, they still can. He said, and that's where I am. Okay, the anti-inflammatories, all the other things that I'm doing, I'm able to work out every day. And that's so good for my cardiovascular, it's good for my pulmonary function, stuff like that. It's like I'm much healthier. And it's really interesting. And so now that affects the presidential election because people who are doing this, they refer to themselves as enhanced, which is why they call it the Enhanced Games. RFK Jr. proudly talks about being an enhanced individual, that he is using the best on the end of healthcare, steroids, juicing, etc. But you look at it, right? That guy's running up and down stairs, stuff like that. He's in phenomenal shape. It would be very interesting to hear somebody talk about that during one of the debates, because that's medical freedom right there.
Yeah, I mean, will we ever see that in professional sports? I mean, I'm not going to say never. I mean, we grew up with the idea that we'll never see gambling in professional sports, and good
Right.
God, we got it now. So
Well, and one of the things they talk about is there's so many drugs that are banned for being performance drugs that shouldn't be banned, that are just
sure.
ridiculous. Like, for example, there's
Weed.
one that specifically all it does is it helps recovery from soft tissue injury. That would make a lot of sense for professional athletes. But,
Yeah.
and then the other interesting thing, and like I said, listen to the Joe Rogan podcast on this and actually skip past the part about the Enhanced Games. Who cares? That's like 45 minutes of the show. But then they get into the medical stuff about it, and they talk about the fact that so many doctors are afraid to write prescriptions for stuff that is banned somewhere. And the few doctors who will are like, I know that this is better. And there's a lot of brain stuff too, a lot of mental clarity drugs that are out there on the market that people aren't willing to prescribe right now, but they're there and they're good. So listen to the Joe Rogan. And when you're thinking about presidential candidates, obviously Chase Oliver is in the best shape of any presidential candidate. But number 2, RFK is on the juice. And
yeah, I don't.
yeah,
I don't care. I don't care if he's like, we had Zoltan Istvan being the transhumanist.
Yeah.
Transhumanist candidate. I'd probably go for Zoltan before I went for RFK Jr.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like Zoltan. I know him personally. But I just think it's medical freedom is an important thing. And part of bodily autonomy is being able to put whatever you want to into your body, keep out whatever you don't want to put into your body. Nobody gets to take anything out of your body. Nobody gets to tell you can't take anything out of your body. Bodily autonomy. And so
Yeah.
I like that Kennedy represents that part of it. I would like to
I don't. I
talk
mean, yeah,
more about
I don't
that.
have a problem with people being able to use it. I mean, I've heard arguments against performance enhancing drugs. Like, where does it stop? Like, where
Yep.
would you do? Because would you want a 15-year-old juicing to lay out kids in football? I mean, there's some ethical considerations to make with that.
Yeah.
But as far as adult and consent, if you're willing to go through that, and there are certainly some anabolic steroids that do have impact on your life. There are a litany of athletes who had used that. I'm thinking of like John Matuzak, and athletes like that had issues later in life.
Oh yeah,
Because
brain cancer.
yeah.
On the other hand, there were responsible users and irresponsible users. If you look at, who are the two greatest weightlifters of our generation, right? Schwarzenegger and Ferrigno. Those guys look fucking amazing now. I just saw Lou Ferrigno in The Offer. The guy looks like he's 40. It's unbelievable.
Well, I mean, people are looking a lot younger nowadays. That and
Right.
and we can make
Except for
the
you, buddy. No,
well,
just kidding.
that's true. We can. I'm hitting 51 next week, so
That's
but
exciting.
yeah.
You
But
guys make sure you turn in for the 51 birthday show. Tell all your friends.
if I have
And
one,
if you want to give Dave a present, like,
Huh?
share, subscribe, right? That's the best present that's the
And a
best present he's
spanking.
going to get.
and a spanking, please.
And a spanking. That reminds me of something else. I'll go into that later. Let's. I didn't mean to drag us off, but the idea of enhanced humans has intrigued me for a long time. So, among the craziest patents that I own is one for a cell phone that replaces your wisdom teeth in the back of your mouth. So, it's a little antenna in there and a microphone and all that stuff. I don't think it'll ever come to pass, at least not anytime soon. But I do love the idea of implanting things into your body to transcend humanity, as Zoltan would say.
I
Would
don't
you do
disagree with
Neuralink?
that.
Would I do? Yes, I
Neuralink?
think so. Um,
I don't know. I don't want. I mean, I wouldn't want Elon
here's
Musk to have my shit. So
well, here's the interesting thing about it is the one thing that I worry about it is sometimes, like, I wonder what I really know. And we've talked about this before. I'm a person who at times can appear to be smart, but I'm actually not particularly smart. I've just had an unbelievable education, courtesy of my parents. And so I can sound smart. But I've met really smart people. And I think about what it means when everybody is immediately incredibly well educated through some form of implant. Yeah, exactly. And there's a great book by Larry Niven and Jerry
sausage.
Purnell, known to a lot of a lot of big sci-fi people, called Fallen Angels, where even before the internet existed, the authors had come up with this idea that was the internet, and you got a little brain implant, and that was the way it worked. But it only worked in this high-rise building that only the most expensive people could live in, and they all built their offices in there and stuff like that. Very interesting concept. Someday,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like the idea of. I mean, I think to an extent for things like interstellar travel, and things like that, there needs to be some kind of transcendence from our physical form to a energy form.
yeah.
I don't think the physical body could withstand interstellar space travel. It's not just energy that we're lacking, but
But remember, it
how do you
doesn't
build a
take that
ship
long.
to do that? How, the human body's just not to that speed.
Right. But he's not kidding, Michelle, AJ. That is how they did it. He had a vibrating butt plug, and that's how they communicated the things in the
And
chest.
that's how they
Yeah,
won the
yeah,
tournament with a
yeah.
vibrate. I would find that distracting, honestly. I'm just throwing that out there.
Have you seen that video? Shane, the comedian, I think his name is Shane Gillis, the OnlyFans dad.
No.
Oh God, I'll have to send that to you because that's one of the funnier little skits I've seen in a long time. He's selling himself because he lost his job, and it's disturbingly funny.
Send it around and then post it in the comments so everybody else can see it.
Yes.
Yeah, unless
That
Zuckerberg sends me to jail.
so that leads to an interesting question too, folks. The official comments are on. Dave, you tell me. Is it the YouTube page or the Facebook page?
I mean, you're seeing all the comments no matter where they're coming from. So the
Right.
YouTube comments or Facebook comments.
If somebody wants to come back and see the and click on a link, they should go to the YouTube page.
If I post the link in the chat, it'll go to YouTube. It'll go to Facebook. It'll go.
Well, that's
go to Twitter.
you. That's you. I'm saying I want to see the link that AJ posted. I don't know. All right. We don't have an answer for that yet, folks. I apologize for distracting from the conversation.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Remember,
share.
Shane, I think his name is Shane Gillis, OnlyFans dad. Just look it up. It's hilarious. Okay. So as far as what I'm looking at with the debate, I think Biden has the most to lose right now because he is marginally leading. And if he falls apart, they're gonna have to have that conversation.
Right.
But I do think there was a very brilliant tactic by the Democrats to get the debate this early, because it does give them a chance to sub someone out. This late in the game before the convention, they're going to be able to have again, I would love to see a contested convention, a brokered convention. I think that would be fascinating. But I do think that Biden has the most to lose just because of where he's at. But I also think that the American people are pretty just going to be the losers out of this one anyway. But that's just the way the debates go. AJ, who do you think is?
Who do I think is what?
Has the most to lose?
Okay. So here's my thing. It doesn't matter what happens to Trump. It doesn't matter. He can be convicted. He can be ordered to pay money. He can be ordered to shut the fuck up. It doesn't matter what happens to Trump. So he has nothing to lose at all because he's Trump, which is the silliest thing maybe ever. I don't understand how we got here. Because it's such okay, you know the Fifth Element?
Yeah.
Little guy with the weird hair. So that's Elon
Zorg.
Musk. Yeah. Thank you. This is why I love you.
Dallas multipass.
Trump is like the guy that's controlling him. And it's just I don't understand. It's such a sci-fi movie or something.
It's there is something that people need to think about, which is how bad did shit have to be for so many people to be driven into thinking that Trump is their only salvation. And well, look, we got to get rid of Donald Trump. You got to stop the worship of the man and stuff like that. But in the same way that the peace imposed by the Allies created Adolf Hitler in Germany, the rule of the Democrats created Donald Trump.
Sure.
And I truly believe that.
Well, it's not just that, but they pushed him.
Well, right. That's the crazy part.
They pushed. I mean, because they tried to do this in 2022 as well, and they were a little more successful in, showing the crazy.
Right.
I do agree, AJ, that Trump's going to be Trump. Trump's going to do what he does, and his followers are going to fucking
not going to change anything. Yeah.
They're going to have the Jesus pictures of Donald Trump out there. They're going to have the truck
Oh,
rally flags. They're going to love it. They're going to eat it up. But I think that what we're missing here is that there's such a chunk of the electorate that is not Donald Trump fans and not Joe Biden fans. And the more he does his shit, the more the people are just going to break to the left. Is it optimal? No. Do I think in 4 years the Republicans are going to find, maybe they're going to say, all right, it's Ivanka's turn. I've seen this worship of Barron come out that is weirdly concerning as well. I mean, like they're going to,
shit.
yeah. I mean, well, they're setting it up for kind of like this dynastic succession. Is it?
Of these idiots?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I know. I
Maybe it's the air here in Denver, but I don't get it. I don't
don't
get
get
it.
it.
I don't
No,
get
I mean
sorry.
it is like prior to Trump actually getting elected. Okay, I could see I want the outsider to win. People who are voting against the system, Trump is against the system, right? The Republicans couldn't stop him. The Democrats couldn't stop him. Okay, that's where the 2016 vote comes from. But after you've seen the guy in office, after you've seen him increase spending while cutting taxes, and look, I'm all in favor of cutting taxes, but you've got to cut the spending at the same time. If you cut taxes and increase spending, that's just crazy. I mean, there is an argument that cutting taxes stimulates the economy, et cetera. That's not the argument they were making. Trump did so many crazy things during his time. I can't understand people voting for him. But, I said the same thing. I didn't think there was any chance that Angela McArdle would get. Yeah, Sean, that's exactly it. I was going to say there is, Michelle Obama.
Yep.
She's probably not going to run, but I think Malia will run, or whoever the eldest daughter is. It wouldn't shock me if Michelle Obama ran. But
Yeah, I just don't see the fire in her to run for
yeah,
president.
yeah,
Malia may run for a Chicago area congressional seat and kind of build her career from there.
yeah.
But being the daughter of a president actually does set her up rather well within politics to eventually run. I mean, heck, there was only one president between Bush Senior and Bush Junior, so
Which is crazy.
yeah, yeah. But to close the loop on this one, we don't know why people get into. I mean, we do to an extent, but we don't quite understand why people get into cults. Like the people get into cults and they do dumb things. I mean, Jonestown was a textbook thing. The Heaven's Gate was a textbook thing. Eventually gets to the extreme when they run out of options. And what happens after the 2024 election? Do they regroup behind another candidate? Because Trump is 78 years old. So 4 years from now, running for president as an 83-year-old or 82-year-old, even though Biden is 81, I actually would give Biden more of a chance making it through the 4 years this time than Trump making it through 4 years at 82. I think his life has been a little harder than Joe Biden's.
Well, certainly. I mean, he's significantly overweight, but
Diapers.
They both seem to have that fire. I don't know. I think neither of them has a great chance of living that long. Just the odds are against you. But I never want to wish for anybody's death. And Trump hasn't named who his running mate is yet. I have no idea who it's going to be.
I heard Doug Borgum,
who?
The North Dakota governor, he might as well just get a jar of mayonnaise and set it next to him compared to Doug Borgum. Doug Borgum is...
Burgum?
His name is Doug?
Yeah.
Borgum,
yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Teach me
I don't know.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly would very happily be a yes man. I think it would be crazy to pick a red state person.
Yeah, it gives him no
Yeah. Pick a purple state. Fucking pick DeSantis.
The two other people that are rumored um, are JD Vance of Ohio,
Yeah.
or yeah, he's a piece of shit.
Or
He's
Captain.
not welcome in. He's not welcome in West Virginia. That's one thing I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Or Marco Rubio.
Yes, I've heard Marco Rubio as well. Rubio makes the most sense politically out of all those people listed.
But he's probably the least likely to, if things happen, do what the president says.
It's true. On the other hand, Rubio gives him a great defense against immigration. It gives him a legitimate chance to win Florida because Rubio's got the machine there. And it would be interesting to see. Chances are pretty good, though. I think he's going to pick Ivanka.
Yeah, I mean,
quite frankly, if she weren't my daughter, I'd like for her to be vice president.
oh, there's such a creepy dynamic there that
Yeah.
They
I
are
think about it
such
as
a
like,
creepy dynamic.
ewy. All right. Also in the news this week, we saw that the governor of Louisiana signed a bill basically forcing the teachers of Louisiana to post the 10 Commandments in their classroom. I was on the radio this week, WRNR on Fridays, part of the political panel, and I closed it out by saying, if you need to enforce your religious doctrine at the barrel of a gun, that tells me that you have no faith in the word of your God.
Well, but also let's talk about what they're doing, okay? Because if you just said, I'm going to post rules to live by, and let's just say we get rid of, right, the first commandment, which is troubling in terms of what it says. You start with honor your father and mother, remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy, no adultery, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I don't see those things, but you just said, rules to live by instead of 10 commandments, you probably wouldn't have much problem about it. But that's not what the Republicans want. They want these to be commandments. You are commanded to follow this. And
even
the idea
they aren't,
that it's somehow like people are saying, well, how come you can have a rainbow flag and that's not pushy, but 10 commandments are? Because the rainbow flag is about tolerance. It's about deliberately accepting everybody who is different from you. Whereas the 10 commandments specifically say, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Okay. That's saying, fuck you, Buddha, up your ass, Allah.
Although Allah is just the word for God. It's an Abrahamic God. So
no, but in this case, he's specifically saying, it starts off beforehand, I'm the Lord your God who led you out of Egypt to be your God. So only if you are a religion descended from, well, I guess you can say that Muslim.
Yeah, Islam is, but that's certainly not what they mean.
Yeah. Well, right. Most Christians don't like that idea either. That's why in most Christian versions of the 10 Commandments, they added a lot of that shit out, which is funny because, I mean, the original is there in Hebrew for everybody to read. There shouldn't be any questions of translation. Like the ones that kill me is where it says, thou shalt not kill. The 10 Commandments do not say thou shalt not kill. 10 Commandments say thou shalt not murder. But if you've read the Old Testament, there's a fuck ton of killing in it.
God's got a body count. I mean,
exactly. Right. I mean, you think about what do those people in Jericho do? Nothing.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I have seen people are talking about posting the original 10 Commandments in Hebrew, which is pretty much illegible to any. I mean, it has to be the way that the law is written. It has to be posted in clear language, clear letters. I'm sorry. Yeah. They didn't say which language, so I mean, I think that is for me the idea that, that's probably what I would do. I actually probably just because I'm an ass, I'd get it translated into Arabic and post it that way. That would really blow their minds.
Yeah, it's first of all, it also cannot stand, right?
Oh no.
There's no way.
But with this Supreme Court, you don't know.
I don't see any way that even gets to the Supreme Court, right? I can't see that.
because the governor said I welcome lawsuits. So I think they're
Hmm.
going to fight this all the way up.
It's an interesting question, though. Where, well, I suppose it could go there to the Supreme Court, but I think
Honestly, I think that the South is taking turns. This state is going to push this. This state's going to push this. And they're all pushing these towards lawsuits. Because how many lawsuits has Tennessee been in for the past 2 years for damn near everything that they have passed?
Yeah.
what
Um,
that.
the,
Go
go
ahead. I
ahead.
was going to say that there is that thing, right? Objective 2025 or something like that.
Yeah.
The Republican plot to
Project
Project
2025.
2025. Right.
Yeah.
Put us all in the project.
It's available online.
Yep.
And okay, once upon a time, I dated a Republican, and we're just going to not worry about that. So later, after we had dated, he actually was a Republican candidate for an alderman for his town, right? So the Republican Party paid for him to run. So I moved to Colorado and I needed him to come get his gun from my house because he had left his gun in my house. Whole other story we can talk about another time. But he finally came and got it, right?
Yep.
And I was like, "Have you heard of Project 2025?" And he was like, "No." I was like, "You need to Google it." I said, "Because if you are raising money for the Republican Party, you are raising money for this. The lowliest of the low in the Republican Party, every single dollar is going to be going towards this, is going to be going towards these crazy ass laws with 10 commandments, and we can't have this, and we can't have these flags, and oh my gosh, there's a book with a dick in it. Like, it's just ridiculous. That's what's happening in the South. There were recordings that actually came out on Tennessee Holler from the Republicans in Tennessee saying Tennessee can't fall. We need all of these states together, or we're not going to make this happen. So, Project 2025, yes, that is absolutely something we should cover when we've
Oh,
gone
yeah.
like in depth reading
Yeah.
about it. Absolutely, we should do that.
Maybe
All
we'll
right.
do that next week.
Because it's terrifying. It's
Maybe that's
terrifying.
the birthday show because
Mm.
Dave's going to be
Yay,
25
happy
years old.
birthday!
Yep.
25, yes.
So
There you
that
go.
makes sense.
Um,
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that this whole religious indoctrination. I've seen a lot of people point out the standing of Louisiana's education system, 47th
Under his
overall, 40th in the country is their overall education system, but a lot of stuff, reading, writing, arithmetic,
You know,
47th, 46th.
we used to talk about that in Massachusetts a lot because Massachusetts, people would talk about how poor the United States education system is compared to an international ranking. But if Massachusetts were its own country and didn't have Mississippi and Louisiana dragging it down, Massachusetts would actually be number 6 in the world. So the problem is the low quality in some of the other states.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the nice
Yeah.
thing about it is people have agency in their lives. AJ is our example. You are our sojourner truth who, escaped the oppressive state of Tennessee, made it to the free lands. That's
Yeah.
a good story.
It's not a bad story. It's a weird story. And it's strange when I have Russian neighbors that are like, "Oh yeah, your home became a lot like my home."
Yeah.
First of all, you're Russian and you're in Colorado. Why do you know anything about Tennessee? That's scary.
Right.
And also, yeah, it is. I mean, when I say it's weird for me to not see people pulled over like every other street, it's
Yeah.
weird for me to not
Yeah.
see lots of people pulled over.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Well,
We don't even
and-
think anything about it in
and
Tennessee.
go
Here, I don't
back
know
and
where they would pull over.
talk about my ex-home state. Massachusetts is one of the few states in which violent crime continues to go down. Across the country, violent crime has increased. But as it turns out, there's two things. We already talked about the relationship between abortion and violent crime. Yes? No?
No.
So it was very clear. There was, a big problem with violent crime up until Roe. Once women were allowed to control their own bodies and really only have children that they wanted to, 18 years later, 16 years later, you see a massive drop in violent crime because you don't have these kids being born that people aren't able to take care of. So the South is going to get a big crime wave. because
It's
go ahead.
interesting. I think with the election going on, that is a big issue. Like, I mean, going into stores nowadays, half the shit's behind some kind of lock and key.
Yep. Yep.
It's the like I get the whole thing about the let's not do bail or bond or anything like that. Let allow people to be on personal cognizance.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to and I'm fully in support of that when it comes to all these not the victimless crimes that we have in the United States. It's when they do victim crimes that I kind of say, we at least if you're being brought back in within a couple hours of being arrested the first time, perhaps you don't really need to be out there.
Yeah. I think that that's where our legal system is breaking down. That they are saying, we've got a problem with the legal system. We're incarcerating too many people, but they just stopped incarcerating everybody, as opposed to the people that the system was designed for. And
I think it's tactical.
Chuck, it's partially tactical, but Chuck brings up Freakonomics. It fundamentally is economics.
Yeah.
If the incentive for you to commit a violent crime, or the lack of incentive, the incentive for you to be a law-abiding citizen is nothing, the only reason that you might do it is because you want to be a good person. Well, that's not a motivator for a lot of people. A lot of people, they talk about, what are my options? My options are being a good person, or having a comfortable lifestyle, or having this, that, or the other thing. They're willing to engage in violence for that purpose. And of course, we have the other thing about it, is that we have a government that gives examples of committing violence to get your way, right? The government tells you that it's okay to use violence to get the things that you want, because they do that through laws and law enforcement, eminent domain, conscription, we were talking about earlier. The government has said, if we think it's morally right, we can violate your body, we can take things from you. So what did kids who are growing up in the world learn from that example? Why do parents generally not spank anymore? Because we've learned that the only thing a child learns from spanking, and I'm sorry if I'm going to piss some of you off of this, but it's pretty well documented. The only thing a child learns from spanking is, one, sometimes it's okay to hit somebody. Two, it's good to have power. Those are the only things that kids learn from spanking. There's a little bit of, I don't want to get spanked, I shouldn't do this. But spanking is really ineffective in teaching things like that. Yeah. But so when we have the government spanking people for no real reason except to, have positions of authority, we have the government telling kids, yeah, it's okay to repeat that cycle, hit people, spank them, take things from them. Yes, AJ.
Birthdays are appropriate spanking times.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is it?
Sorry.
And consent. You got to have consent. Consent.
That people get spanked on their birthdays. Yes. Yeah, that is a little different. I agree.
Sorry, you were getting very serious, and I decided to break it.
No, that's all right.
Stop it. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. I think that one of the biggest regrets I have is when my kids were small and popped their hands. That was dumb. I mean, because now I look at the way that they're gentle parenting is what they're calling it. Honestly, I think it's just being a fucking person. I wish that I had been more patient when my kids were smaller and talked to them more and gave them more of a reason why instead of no.
Yep.
Because it didn't do anything.
I mean, look, it's not the end of the world if kids are spanked. I was spanked quite a bit as a child. As you can imagine, I was a nightmare of liberty. I want
to see little pictures of baby Dan.
I'll break those out. I got some lying around, but
yay!
It didn't make me a violent person or anything like that, but it did make me more inclined to consider violence as an option. And I look at my sister's kids who weren't raised that way, and they're very gentle people, gentle and kind. And we could all be that way if we weren't teaching our kids to hit each other.
Sure.
Yes.
I mean, I grew up in a time when, the school system could pop you one too. I mean, I had the vice principal of our school had a wiffle paddle to administer corporal punishment in the schools. So, yeah, I mean, things have gotten better. I mean, I think that people will make the argument of that, that momentary lapse of pain is, kind of like the don't touch the hot burner, gives you that lesson. But, to me, none of the psychological foundations back that up. That they, it's really not effective at teaching, because really lessons do need to be learned in a very quick succession from that incident for it to have lasting, especially the younger that they are. But I just don't think that smacking a kid around is that effective at administering that lesson.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's clearly not. And so here we are in this situation where we want the world to get better. We're wondering about violent crime and why that stuff happens. And we have to remember that, and this is, I when I say it, I worry that I sound like the craziest of the libertarians in our movement. But government is giving a working example of committing violence against people in society. And how can we expect to emerge to a nonviolent society, or at least a more peaceful society, when we have government committing these crazy acts of violence against its citizenry?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we don't have an answer. But that's the shit that makes us all libertarians. Guys, listen, I wish I could be another party, right? I wish I could be a Democrat. I wish I could be a Republican, and have a chance of winning election, but I can't, because both sides are so committed to using force as a means to implement the rule of law. And you can't do that. You can't use force for economic reasons. You can't use force for personal gain. The only acceptable use of force is the defense of your life or your liberty or your property. And that's it. And so that's why I have to stay in the liberty movement. Liberal Party USA.
There you go.
Or whatever.
Liberal Party USA, Pirate Party, wherever you find it, take it up and keep moving forward. So, all right, y'all, ready for? We've been all over the place tonight. This has been a good discussion.
Well, we did say it was a free for all.
It was a free for all. So, are y'all ready for the CNN news quiz this week? Is not a news quiz of the week that was. It is a summer quiz, testing our knowledge of certain summer traditions. Are y'all ready for this?
I'm ready. I know a lot about summer. Summer people, summer not.
Wow. All right, let me hide that. Let me bring up the CNN summer quiz.
Hey, that's our fireworks.
All right, there we go. June 20th, 2024. Again, this isn't news for the prior week, so we're just doing summer stuff.
Beach.
And feel free to share your answers in the chat, and we'll share them as well. Question number 1: which movie is considered to be the first summer blockbusters? Star Wars, Jaws, Jurassic Park, or Avatar?
That's tough. So I can say that I've seen all these movies in the theater when they came out. I tell you what, I think Sean is right.
I do as well. I think Jaws was 76, right?
Yeah, but so when was Star Wars? Were they the same?
No, I feel like Star Wars came out in the fall or something, though.
That's my question. Is Jaws, which was first? It's either Jaws.
I think Jaws was. I really do think Jaws.
Oh, I think Jaws is first. I don't think it's 77.
Janice and Craig as well.
So many people are saying
I think Jaws is like 74.
75.
All right, that's
Yay!
Released on June 20th, 1975, Jaws went on to become the first film to gross more than $100 million at the box office.
Everybody, give us your favorite Jaws quote. I'm going to start with this one, but I'm probably going to make 4 more during the rest of the thing. We got a taxidermy man at home. He's going to have a heart attack when he sees what I brung him.
Need a bigger boat?
I got that beat. Mary Ellen Moffat. She broke my heart.
All right, question number 2. Summer is the peak season for amusement parks. Where was America's first roller coaster built? Cleveland, Detroit, New York, or Seattle?
If it's Seattle, that's crazy. Right? Seattle isn't even settled, isn't even a state for a long time. It's got to be New York. It's got to be Coney Island, right?
I got to think it's Cleveland.
I mean, Cleveland.
I feel like it's Cleveland. I don't know why. Why is that?
It sounds like an Ohio invention.
All right. I think it's Coney Island.
I don't know.
All right, we're going to wait for the audience to weigh in on this one.
Help.
We're not try. Have you ever seen the Cleveland tourism ad?
I've seen the one that they did on 30 Rock, which was awesome.
No, there's another one that this guy did a web series called Jana says Coney Island. But okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, we'll do New York. Correct.
Yeah.
There you
First roller
go.
coaster in the U.S. opened on Coney Island, Brooklyn, New York in 1884.
Right. They didn't even have electricity in Ohio.
All right. Question number 3. America's most famous eating contest takes place annually on July 4th. Which food is devoured in the competition? Donuts, chicken wings, hamburgers, or hot dogs?
We obviously know this one. Do you know about the controversy of the traditional champion being banned?
Yeah. So Joey Chestnut was banned from the competition. It's hot dogs. But he has a sponsorship deal with Impossible, who make their own meat concoctions, plant-based meat concoctions. So they have banned him from the competition.
Yep.
So we'll have a new champion this year.
Yep.
I like plant-based hot dogs. They
So
taste like hot dogs.
Fox.
I don't mind Impossible.
It's totally fun.
Fox used to had a show that was man versus animal, and they had Joey Chestnut compete against a grizzly bear to see who could eat the most hot dogs. And the thing is that the bear doesn't realize that it's a contest. And so at first, Chestnut's just clobbering him. And he's like 6 hot dogs in, and then all of a sudden the bear reaches out with his tongue and goes, 25 hot dogs down in one bite. It's amazing. They also had a tug of war between an orangutan and a sumo wrestler. Very entertaining.
Nice. I remember he was Man versus Food. Remember that show with what was his name? Adam Zimmer, maybe? No, not Adam Zimmer. That was the weird food guy.
That was the other one.
Yeah. But he had Joey Chestnut on there, and Joey Chestnut obliterated it was like one of these kind of like old Chipotle burritos. They're like, get it back. So they're like these big ass burritos. He inhaled that thing in like 10 seconds. Yeah. Like just amazing capacity to eat.
The thing is right. Joey Chestnut's going to make so much more with those plant-based hot dogs.
And eventually he's going to come back. They're gonna have to have and they're going to make whoever wins the Nathan's hot dog is going to have a contest, a one-on-one. And maybe they do it with the Nathan's hot dogs versus the Impossible and see who wins. I don't know. But everyone will make money on it, though. All right, question number 4. Fireworks have been a part of every July 4th celebration in the U.S. since its first in 1777. Which country is considered to be the birthplace of fireworks? China, Greece, China. Italy, or Japan?
I'm not even going to throw this out to the audience.
China.
Nobody doesn't know this question.
All right. Most historians credit China with the invention of fireworks around 800 AD, but it was in the in the 1830s, Italian inventors added trace amounts of metals in a mix to create the colorful displays that we see now. All right, question number 5. Summer is also the start of state fair season. Which state has the largest in the U.S.? Iowa, State Fair of Texas, Minnesota, or Wisconsin?
I'm looking at this picture, and I want to guess Texas because I've been to the Texas State Fair many times, and it's right by the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah,
Um,
I know Iowa is huge.
but I mean, how big can it be? It's in Iowa.
Well, I mean, look at how many things there are to do in Texas.
Right.
There's just a crap ton to do. Now, the thing that helps Texas is that they have the Red River rivalry during the Texas State Fair that Oklahoma and Texas play during the
fairgrounds are open all the time.
But we're talking about the specific length of the state fair. So most
it's
2 weeks.
It's interesting too. When they say the largest, what do they mean? Number of people attended? Physically biggest fairgrounds?
Janice says Minnesota. Greg says Iowa. I'm kind of in that Iowa camp because remember, what else would you do in Iowa?
All right.
Minnesota also makes sense.
Pork. There's a lot of pork in Iowa. There's gambling in Cedar Rapids, and you can get a nice sofa in Davenport. Wow. I'll be here all week.
Wow, it's a Dan joke.
All right, I think it's Texas, but I'll go with Iowa if that's what you want. AJ, you said Iowa?
I haven't said anything, but I was thinking Iowa.
All
right. Let's do it. Oh, it is Texas.
Oh,
son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's
no, that was on me too. So, well, me because I suggested that first. All right, question number 6. Watermelon is a popular summertime treat. What percentage of a watermelon is water? 50, 70, 80, or 90%? How much of the human body is water? I can't remember. 70%.
70.
So I'm going to say it's north of 7.
It's tough because the rind, but I agree with Janice. It's always one end or the other, and it's not 50%. So let's go 90.
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah, nice job.
Nice. Sean got it too.
Yep.
All right. Average watermelon is about 92% water. So that's why if you get high and eat watermelon, you end up peeing a lot. It's just
you pee and you pee and you pee.
Just understand that that's part of the process. So
you can drill a hole in the top of the watermelon before you slice it out. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I've been to parties where it's been Everclear. So
good.
It's not good when
it's dangerous.
Everclear is so dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Everclear is dangerous.
All right, question number 7. Summer is a great time to hit the beach. Which state is known as the Ocean State? California, New Jersey, Florida, or Rhode Island?
I know.
I suspect it's Rhode Island.
It is Rhode Island. I mean, California, everybody knows, is the Sunshine State. Florida,
Meth State.
Exactly.
New Jersey, the crime state.
New Jersey is the can't park here state, and Rhode Island is the
can't pump your own gas state.
Exactly, can't pump your own gas. Only on the turnpike, but still. Yeah, is Rhode Island.
Sean and Janice get it. Correct. The Ocean State is the official nickname of Rhode Island. Wow. Rhode Island is the smallest state in the Union. It boasts some 400 miles of coast.
Yep.
Wow.
Because, the fjords and the inlets and stuff like that.
Although, worst beaches I've ever been on. They're just so rocky.
Yes, in Rhode Island?
Yeah.
It depends on where you go. There's some nice beaches in Rhode Island, but
I'm sure there's some dragged beaches, but
Yeah.
the one somebody took me to, I was like, I don't have the footwear to
Ouch.
survive this
Yeah.
beach.
it's
Yeah.
definitely true that New England beaches are nowhere near as nice as southern beaches like Florida, Mississippi, Alabama.
Yeah. All right, question number 8. Drive-in movies were a popular summer pastime in the 50s and 60s. When did the first drive-in movie theater open in the United States? The 20s, 30s, 40s, or 50s?
I'm gonna guess the 40s because not enough cars in the 20s. The 30s is the Great Depression.
Hmm. Like the late 40s.
Yeah, I mean post World War II.
Like people came back from war.
You could
And it says
certainly make an
50s.
argument for the 50s. But
Uh,
it said
Well,
when did the first drive-in movie theater open in the U.S.?
yeah, I think to get to the popular pastime in the 50s, it needs to open a little bit earlier than
I mean, maybe it's the
maybe
30s.
it's the 50s. Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe it's the 30s.
But I like the 40s. That's my
I mean,
guess.
I think the 20s don't make any sense because we're still
Not enough
just getting
cars.
into the
I don't think
well,
there's
not only
powerful
not
enough.
enough cars, but just getting into sound in movies.
Right.
So I think the 40s makes the most sense.
Well, that's
Oh!
actually
The
oh,
30s.
wow.
ouch.
We had it.
In New Jersey.
Yep.
In New Jersey.
You can't
And-
park
Get
here.
parked
State.
there.
Can't park there, and you're going to lose your hubcaps. So 25 cents for the car and 25 cents for the person. Which you think of back in the day in the Great Depression, that's a hefty price.
Right, but you would smuggle people in the trunk and all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
back when trunks were really made to have a body in them.
Especially in New Jersey.
In New Jersey.
All right, question number 9. Summer travel rush is in full swing with the massive crowds passing through airports. How many scheduled flights do U.S. airlines offer each day? 10,000, 26,000, 16,000, or 36,000?
Well, it's either the most or the least. 36 seems crazy to me, but maybe that's it. 10,000 seems reasonable to me, though.
Yeah.
And it's the roundest number.
I think with all the 6s involved, I think one of them is the right answer, though.
If we're going to go with the 6, I would guess 36,000. I mean, let's just think about like one airport. I mean, actually,
Don't ride Boeing. Yeah. Jenna says 36 and don't ride Boeing. Especially if you're an astronaut. Yeah, especially if you're an astronaut, you're still trying to get down from who knows if they're going to be able to get down.
Wait, aren't there some rich people that are also submarining too again?
Yeah, there's another planned expedition down to the Titanic.
Okay.
Right.
Somebody's going to feed the fish, I guess.
Well, I mean, the thing is,
36,000.
it's been established that it could be done safely.
26,000.
Damn it! And it was a middle one, which ruins our middle
Our theory.
They've been watching us. That's what it is. They've been watching. They're like, oh, Deep Dive says that we always go the high or low.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 10. Which holiday is considered the official end of summer in the United States? Flag Day, Memorial Day, Labor Day, or Veterans Day? If you're in Georgia, it's Veterans Day because it's still hot as fuck in November in Georgia. So
right, but there's one of these that you're not allowed to wear white after, and I know you know that, Dave.
Flag Day. Damn it! I'm wearing white.
You can only wear red and blue after that on Flag Day. It is Labor Day.
It is.
No,
not Memorial Day.
Not Memorial Day, Labor Day. Memorial Day is the start of summer.
Laborious Day. For many, Labor Day symbolizes the end of summer. I think more for northern folks than people in the South, because kids in the South tend to go to school a lot earlier, like in August. Right. Northeast, they tend to not go to school until after Labor Day weekend. So
Right.
Wow.
Which was always crazy to me because, in the South, you've got all these air conditioning bills. Why not delay the kids? We had to go to
Well,
Galveston like the second week in August. We would go back to school. It's crazy.
yeah, their second week of August. That's what we're at here in West Virginia. Um, I don't know because you're either going to have to sit in a sweltering classroom in August, or you're going to have to sit in it because the kids in the Northeast don't get out until early June, maybe middle of June. So you're in the South. It really doesn't matter. So
Right.
you're going to be sitting in a sweltering classroom for a while anyway. All right, we got 7 out of 10 this week.
Wow, bad score.
Yeah.
I blame the
It's
drugs.
the second time in a row we've gotten 7 out of 10. So
Yep.
what is
I
going on? We need to pay attention. Well, this one was a little bit different from
Yeah.
the normal quizzes. It wasn't news. It was similar traditions. So
Right. I would have thought that would have meant we would have done better, but no.
yeah,
Maybe we're not traditional people.
we are not.
It's
At
true.
least I'm not.
Yeah, I'm definitely not. Right after the show, I'm going to go run around with these.
Nice. Excellent. I'm going to get ready for spankings next week.
Nice. That'll be a good thing. So everybody remember, right? Dave's birthday is
Yes.
coming up. Like, share, subscribe.
See where it says up here at the top? Like, share, subscribe. Wherever you're at, whether it's Twitch, Twix, whatever they're calling it this week. Facebook, YouTube,
all those things.
I'm on LinkedIn too. So this show is going out on LinkedIn. So if you're on LinkedIn, give us a like, share, subscribe there as well. And we really appreciate everyone watching us and joining the conversation. Sean, Janice, Craig, we had Chuck Moulton as well. Thank you so much for joining us this week. And we will talk to you all next week, I think, talking about that Project 2025.
Yes.
That sounds like a good thing to talk about.
Do it.
Yeah,
yes, LinkedIn does have streaming.
Shout out to Daryl Perry, who was also here.
Oh, yes, Daryl Perry, too, as well. He's. I'm going to talk about his book at some point whenever I get it. He's got a new rules, like Robert's Rules, Democratic Rules of Order or something like that. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because I know that
Perry's Rules of
you're
Order.
almost done with law school, right?
He's there. He's close. He did come in with the legal take that San Marino is a micro state and not micronation. Micronation, not micro. Some kind of legal stuff. I'm in his book learning.
Also, shout out to John Morrissey.
Yeah, John Morrissey.
We like it when you participate. And remember, it's not too late to put in things that you'd like to see on the presidential debate bingo.
Yes.
So put those into the comments.
Wherever you comment,
we'll issue something on the Facebook page.
Yeah, well, wherever they comment, I get the information. So let me know, and we'll come up with a drinking game. And maybe just maybe, if you are good, I will
simulcast,
live tweet. Maybe I'll simulcast.
What day is it?
Thursday night.
No, that's game 8 of the Stanley Cup is going to be Thursday night.
No, that's the night.
No,
that's the night before the draft. So
no, I'm kidding anyway, AJ. They won't have an 8th game. They only go 7.
Oh,
all right.
So we want to do it? I'll do it.
Yeah, if you want to.
Let's talk about it.
All right.
All right.
That's probably the only way I'm going to watch. Good night, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie. Have a good one, everybody. Take care.